Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Chag Sameach. Shana Tova. There is a song by Jason Mraz which states, it's very popular right now, look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. That's really the message for today and what we should take away for every day in the year to come and those to follow. We must look for the good within ourselves, each other, our country, our world, in order to stave off depression in these very dark and challenging times. We must look for the good in order to stay the course, to hang on another day, to give birth to ourselves on this Rosh Hashanah, the birthday of the year, and to each other, even if it seems impossible. We must do our teshuvah, we must make our amends, and we must reach out to God to help us, praying that God will see the goodness that we see and save us. Praying that our devotion, intention, and action will motivate and move God from the seat of judgment to grant us mercy and ultimate redemption. Not just for the Jewish people on these holy days, but for all of our brothers and sisters in this country and also in this entire global world that we share. We are all God's children, and we call upon Avinu Malkeinu, our sovereign, to save us. On this Rosh Hashanah day, let us have hope for the building of a better America, Yisrael, our world, and let us pray for rebirth not only for ourselves, but every man, woman, and child sharing this planet we call home. We are all one in this plague that holds us fiercely in its grip. Let us call upon God to free us from this new type of Pharaoh. Let us ask God to move from judgment to compassion from whatever ails, not just from this pandemic, but from whatever sins we may have inadvertently or knowingly done to bring this plague upon us. As one global humanity, all brothers and sisters under God. We discussed last night how we were deemed to be co-partners with God, entrusted with the responsibility to care for each other, but also our planet, and co-create something better. The work is never finished. We must embrace the Nisim B'chol Yom of this and every day, the miracles, acknowledging that each day we are given is a miracle and a gift that we should not waste or think lightly of. The pandemic has certainly proven that. We must also have gratitude, Modim Anachnu Lach, as we read together and prayed just a few moments ago. Giving thanks for everything small and large that we receive, even, yes, to the challenges that make us greater. Acknowledging, as the stewards and shepherds of this world, being commanded to be a light unto the nations, that these very challenges help us evolve our character and our actions toward higher planes of living and being. Our prayer on this day and throughout these days of awe must inspire awe within us and God, respectively, to repair what is broken and to do our tikkun olam through our teshuvah, not on this day alone, but throughout the week, the months, and the years ahead. It's going to be challenging, but we are not given more than we can handle. And if we are, as I've discussed in years past, you just need to cry out, please don't give me any more, I can't take it. And the load will be lightened. I've seen this time and time again. We are responsible on this great day of rebirth to renew ourselves, to renew our community, even our country, as we reach to elevate and give birth to a new consciousness and collective beginning for humanity, global society, and our world. Each one of us can make a difference. Our thought manifests energy. Our consciousness creates movement that shifts the dynamic of what is and the possibility of what can be. We may think that the state of our personal lives, our country, our world is more than we can bear or do anything about, but that is not true. Truth and justice that we will speak about on Yom Kippur starts with us. In the eulogy former President Barack Obama gave for John Lewis, remember, I'm not being political one way or the other, a giant of Congress and the civil rights era whose courageous protests guaranteed him a place in American history, Obama praised Mr. Lewis for understanding that it takes not only faith, but hard work to improve the country and keep a healthy democracy on course. He said that Mr. Lewis exhibited that most American of ideas, the idea that any of us ordinary people without rank or wealth or title or fame can somehow point out the imperfections of this nation and come together and challenge the status quo and decide that it is in our power to remake this country that we love until it more closely aligns with our highest ideals. This was something that Mr. Lewis dedicated his life to, and it is a battle people still take to the streets with outcries for a new beginning, injustice, and for the need for repair of a system that they feel is broken. We have a civic, social, and moral obligation to be open to change, to embrace adversity, to seek and to question, and be willing to take up the fight to make the changes necessary to rebuild humanity and our world. It may be written that the Jewish people are meant to be a light unto the nations, but we all have the responsibility to manifest light, our own individual light, and share it. Maybe it is incumbent upon us to carry more of the burden, to step up and to lead. We did take on the responsibility of all the commandments, after all, 613 of them, not just 10. Whatever your political allegiance, you should vote. That in and of itself is a simple action that can make a difference, and the census. On this Rosh Hashanah, the birthday of the world, let us take up the mantle to truly merit something better and to continue to do our part. Let us be proactive in our thought, the energy we dwell in within our own being, and the energy that we put out into the world. It makes a difference. Let us look for the good in ourselves and each other and truly see it. There is so much dissension right now. People get angry at the smallest of things and tension escalates. Many are on system overload. We are finely constructed computers that are ready to crash. Times are tough, but we must remember, this too shall pass. We have to have faith, be strong, support temple and one another. We need to do whatever we can from the confines of our safe distance to bring ourselves closer to divinity, to perfect and evolve our character and even more. Rabbi Colonius Kalman Halevi Epstein wrote about what it is when we have things at stake, when people become too focused on themselves, dwelling in a state of ego, a state of anochiut that can be both a blessing and a curse. Anochi, the importance of a person in his or her own eyes, can be both a blessing and a curse. When a person thinks of him or herself as a somebody, this can be a mask that separates between him, her, and the Blessed One. This is a curse. But having a good sense of self can also be a blessing. Sometimes the evil inclination tells a person, how can you dare to pray before the Holy Blessed One when you are a worm and not a person? Then he or she must fortify their heart to enter the palace of the King. Then anochi, selfhood or ego, is for a blessing. When we look at the social unrest in our streets, people masked or unmasked, feeling like victims on all sides of the equation, we need to search for the highest point in our being that is good and then see that in others. There is good in everyone. Take a moment, take this time between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and think of the people that you find most challenging, or the moments that you've had with them that were most challenging, and challenge yourself to find some semblance of good in there somewhere. It will elevate your relationship. It will free your soul from the chains that bind you, and it will help to elevate our world, because yes, there is good in everyone. We need to search for solutions and new ways of being and fortify our hearts in order to enter the palace of the King. No time is better for this than right now. We would not wish for any of this chaos on any day, but from it and through it, we will get to the other side, where promise is possible, as well as redemption and renewal. As President Obama said, we have the power to point out the imperfections of this nation and remake this country that we love until it more closely aligns with our highest ideals. We have the power to do this for our world as well, and it starts with us. We have to look at when ego has been our undoing, when injustice has unraveled our society to the point of reckoning, and then do things differently. We tried to do that when we made Temple Emet. That's kind of our slogan. We do things differently. We have to move beyond that which feels like a curse and reveal the blessing. Our task at this time, especially in the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, is to try to discern the difference. Everything is askew right now, like Purim. When we dress up in costume, we wear masks. What is up is down, and vice versa. It's like we're living in a hall of illusion and mirrors. Everything is not exactly quite what it seems. What we once knew is gone. What we think we know has gone out the window. We are sometimes inebriated to the point that we don't know between blessing and curse. And there sometimes needs to be no rhyme or reason to anything. It doesn't feel like it. Things couldn't be more bizarre. And that is what we've got going on right now. Things are that bizarre. And then at Purim, the mask comes off and the truth is revealed. God's truth. Emet. Soon, we will be hearing Ella Tilson chant Bereshit at her bat mitzvah during our Sukkot Simchat Torah Shabbat service, the first Friday of October, out here. Maybe it's going to have to be at 5:30. We're going to have to look at the timing of the light. We will hear how God created order out of the chaos and gave birth to something that was very, very good. Our world, us, and every living thing on this planet. God looked at it all and deemed it all good. Very good. This one is very good. This world. When we spoke in the beginning about the Jason Mraz song, look for the good in everything and everyone, it's extremely challenging to do that without first seeing the good in ourselves and then look at others. If we are dwelling in darkness, if we are dwelling in despair, if we are blinded by the chaos that this pandemic has placed upon us all, it will be hard to see the good in each other and the world that we can co-create. God is with us. We are able to harness the light and the energy of the universe to shift everything to the good and back into balance. It begins with us and the process of teshuvah that we do during these very important days. People have way too much time on their hands, or they are first responders or essential workers who have been stretched beyond what one might think is acceptable. Some choose to contribute and find new ways to give. Others complain and take out their frustration on themselves and all the people around them. All of us look for ways to cope during these uncertain times where the only certainty is that we must remain fluid and learn to adapt. Let us do our teshuvah. Let us make our amends. Let us ask and give forgiveness. Let us do whatever we can to embrace our fellow man and woman and child, to help affect our world and put an end to this plague upon us all. May God be with us on this journey. May God grant us the strength to get through these challenging times. May God inscribe and seal us for life so that this plague will not touch us, those we love, or anyone else for that matter. And may God help us remove the mask that hides our ego, along with the best in ourselves and each other, so that we can reveal and embrace the good. Shana Tova Umetuka, may we all be written and sealed for a sweet, good new year, filled with all that is Tov, all that is Tov Me'od, very, very good. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom.